Hello. Welcome to this lovely little video you have stumbled upon. I really do hope you enjoy it. The topic of this video will be a sad topic: mental illnesses. You see, mental illnesses are the kind of pain that you can't see. Unlike a broken leg or a large bruise, it cannot be seen, but it can hurt just as bad. I'm going to educate you on these pains before showing you my interviews with professional counselors. Did you know? Anxiety disorders are highly treatable, yet only about 1/3 of those suffering receive treatment. Did you know it's not uncommon for someone with an anxiety disorder to also suffer from depression or vice versa? Nearly 1/2 of those diagnosed with depression are also diagnosed with anxiety disorder. Or did you know that it affects 6.8 million adults, and women are twice as likely to be affected as men? I bet you didn't. Here's some nifty little charts you might care to see. As you can see, this is a very widespread issue. But why isn't it considered a real problem, though? Well, there are many reasons. Many people think these problems can be cured by saying, "Man up," or "Don't be a sissy." Some people think people are suffering are just going through a phase. Others even think that a problem can just be cured by a god, or that it's not real at all. Many people think this is just a first world problem. You see, there isn't one single thing that can happen to stop this. I'm not going to tell you there is a magic pill that will solve these people's problems. But what I will tell you is this: it feels very good to be accepted. Although you may not think it's a big deal, just sharing a nice thought with someone is all it takes. Sit down and be with someone. Don't look at your phone. Just be there to talk with somebody who is suffering. The one true way that we can stop all of this is by simply accepting each other. If this video helps one person to feel like they are not alone, then it's worth it. So share this video with your friends or your family who don't believe or are uneducated. They may think it's fake, and if so, well, at least you tried. But trying and failing is better than not trying at all. Hello, thank you for participating in my interview for my short film on mental illnesses today. So, can you tell everybody about yourself?
Hey Nick, good morning. I'm Mr. Terry. I'm a school counselor here. I've been at Rosemont for the last couple years. I've been a school counselor for 8 years now, and before that I did college admissions. So just worked with a lot of different students in a lot of different ways. I also advise the student council here at Rosemont, so it's been a great couple years here, and excited to work with lots more kids.
How do you personally deal with all the issues that these kids have on the day-to-day basis?
There's definitely a lot of issues that come up in the counseling office, and it ranges from lots of different things. So it can be mental health, it can be just situational, sometimes things with your family or dating kind of issues, and then sometimes it relates to school and grades and different things like that. So how do I deal with that personally? I try to just be there for my students and be kind of as solid as possible. At the same time, you know, we're human beings too, school counselors. So some of it does affect us. We try not to take it home so that we can be the best possible resources for students. So we just kind of take it case by case and try to be the best we can be.
Alrighty, thank you. You deal with this all the time. Like, obviously, so what do you feel about it happening, and there's some kids who just stay silent about this issue, or why they do that?
Yeah, mental health is a big issue in school and in the world right now. I think it's coming up a lot more. I think people are being more honest about it in some ways. And how do I deal with how people react to it? Is that the question?
Yeah.
I think that some people really understand it and know about it and maybe have experienced it themselves. And then I think for other people it's hard to understand.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a broken arm where you wear a cast and you do that kind of thing. But it is similar in that you're having some really big issues, and they deserve attention, and they deserve sometimes medical attention at the same time. So I think it's really important not to undermine mental health, and to really, if you're experiencing that or someone you know is, it's important to try to help those folks get the help they need, or try to get the medical attention they need. So I know there's some people that don't buy it, but I hope that with the more information that's coming out, and the more research, that people start to understand it a little better, be compassionate towards those folks.
And what could we do to make this a more like well thought issue to the public? Because it kind of has a bad rap around it, like they're just being sissies, or yeah.
I think that education is a huge deal. So just making sure that folks understand what different mental health issues are, making sure some of the different things that are happening are kind of profiled so that people understand it. I think when you see someone else go through something, someone you care about, you a lot of times have a little more interest and a little more compassion towards that cause. And so I think just being more educated and getting the word out will help people understand it a little better. So,
thank you for spending time with me today.
yeah, hopefully it helps.
Hello, thank you for participating in my interview for my short film on mental illnesses today. So, can you tell everybody about yourself?
So I am Denise Cochran, and I'm one of 5 counselors here at Rosemount High School. It's my 17th year here.
Alrighty, thank you. How do you deal with so many issues being brought into you, like on a daily basis by kids? And can you describe what this is like?
Well, I will say that it's sometimes if you let it really get to you, you can leave this job with everybody else's anxiety and depression poured right on to you. So what I try to do is be with the students in the moment, and then when I leave the office, I leave it here and I focus on driving my car and going home, playing with my dog, etc.
Alrighty, thank you. You deal with this all the time, obviously, so what do you feel about it happening and kids staying silent about being so sad?
Well, it seems like people are being more and more open about it. The stigma isn't as bad as it used to be, where people just didn't talk about depression or anxiety. Now they're willing to. I mean, it's a criteria in the diagnostic manual for mental health that now doctors will clinically describe it and prescribe treatment, whether it's pharmaceuticals or natural ways to get rid of anxiety and depression. But I think there's more of it, partially because adults and students aren't getting outside as much, they're not exercising as much, they're on social media more, and it all contributes to just not as healthy of a lifestyle. I don't think the farmers in the olden days had as much anxiety and depression. They probably had some.
Yeah. What are some struggles that these kids could suffer daily that many people may not know about?
Well, I think a lot of teachers and coaches and things aren't always aware of the issues that we know about when kids come from poverty or from single parent family homes, or even they don't live with either parent. They might live with a grandparent or an aunt and uncle or foster care. You know, and there's just a lot more struggles. There's a lot more pressure in our world today, a lot more drive to get ahead, and financially things cost more, so consequently there's more mental health.
How do you feel knowing there are many people who don't believe this is a real problem, or think it can just be
Minimized?
just man up, or you're just being a sissy?
Well, yeah, and I've heard that. I mean, from even just my own friends who are like, oh, they just need to, just get out and go ride their bike and they'll feel better. I said, well, exercise does help, but I think that when a person has struggled with it themselves or has a family member, then they can say, okay, now I get it. And it only takes one time for a person to have like a panic attack. I myself, even though I'm a counselor and I know all the strategies, I had a major panic attack once on an airplane, and I couldn't get out. The door was closed, and I had to force myself to breathe and fix my way through it. And I don't know if one of your questions will be about strategies, but I hope you'll be asking me that, because I would love to talk about some of the strategies that we offer to students and that I've used myself with my own panic.
Would you like to talk about some of the strategies?
Well, I would love to. And what I did on that airplane that day, because I could not get out and go running like I might do, is I did some incredible deep breaths, and then I got up out of my seat, went into the bathroom, and washed my hands. So one strategy that they talk about a lot is try to do something normal and boring. Like if you were having an anxiety attack or depression at home, to get up and wash the dishes or vacuum. I know it sounds boring, but wash your hair, take a shower, something like that. Strategy 1. Strategy 2, deep, deep belly breathing. So you can get oxygen to your brain if you inhale through your nose, big inhale, and a slow exhale through your nose. Just brings oxygen to the brain, and it just tends to just soften those neurotransmitters that anxiety comes from. These little rings we got in India, but you can get them on the internet too, and it's more acupressure based, but again, you're breathing in as you roll it down, and then you exhale when you pull it off. Inhale, breathe in. Exhale slowly. So that's sort of acupressure based protein, like in a hard-boiled egg. It's really helpful. Yogurt, milk, meat, cheese for mental health, anxiety, depression, as well as attention deficit that so many of us have. Water is just good for you. There's also now a lot more apps on phones and iPads. This one, Fluid, that I like particularly, this one is just has some really soft music, and then you can just take your finger and just kind of do a little.
Cool.
It's just calming. This is just one example. There's lots more. And as well as talk therapy, just talking it over with a friend. But lots of times, you're by yourself at home and there's no friend around. So we have students journal, do things like chew gum, color. You've seen all the new adult coloring tablets these days, and those are amazing. Yeah, these are just like amazing. This one says color me happy, but really it's getting your mind on something else. And so this is just like you just color these lines, and it can be very relaxing. So certainly these are non-pharmaceutical strategies, and some people, they'll try all these things and they still are paralyzed by it, and then usually they'll have to go get some kind of medication, which I myself have used in the past, as well as an outside therapist, and those really go well hand in hand together. So
all right, what could we do to make this or what do you think we could do to minimize this issue, or to raise awareness to it, or to help?
Minimize, raise awareness, or help. Well, to minimize, I think things like daily PE, daily deep breathing. That's why I get on the intercom, breathing daily. Required snack break of protein. Like, I would love to have like cheese on every floor of the school, free for students, or nuts, bags of almonds available. fresh air, getting people outside and nature and vitamin D, that would, and and less technology would minimize a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Awareness, I think that's happening. Like right now in the 10th grade wellness classes, counselors are going into the wellness classes every trimester and talking about strategies for dealing with this mental health issue. Yeah. Just, maybe having more speakers on it. When we have Flex Day, if we had some kind of mental health professional come who has suffered from anxiety and speak to the students, there wouldn't be, as much negative stigma.
Alrighty. Thank you so
Throw
much.
away the cell phones too.
Yeah.
Even though I use mine all the time.
Thank you so much for having this interview today.